是找机会能力特别强。然后在另外一边的话 ，EDG 昨天的比赛就是在打到最后一局，最后那个 BO3的时候，完全就是感觉被对手带了节奏。就昨天也是咱俩解说的那一场嘛，就是整个运营也好啊，还是说个人实力也好，都能看到 VG 这边可能会更胜一筹一些。
是 VG 昨天打得特别漂亮，他们可能在关键的时刻做最正确的决定。那就看今天有没有从昨天的比赛里面稍微的着摸回一些，对吧？着摸回一些经验。那我们先用掌声邀请两支战队登场。
首先，让我们邀请 EDG 战队入场，有请。
All right, hello and welcome everyone. How's it going? But this is our final day of Nest. It's been a very long 2 weeks. And here we go. So we're gonna start with our third place match. We've got EDG taking on FPX. Both of these teams were solidly clapped in the semifinals. So if you're basing it off of yesterday's performance or the semifinals performance, you know, it's really hard to predict the winner of this match. However, we've seen a lot of other games from both of these teams, and while FPX have shown that they have the ability to win late game team fights, the issue is everything else. The early game and a lot of the mid game is very unstructured. They play a very solo QS where they don't have too much of a plan, and we'll have to see if any of that changes for this third place match, because this will be their third series with Shen Yi, which of course is their emergency sub. So maybe by this point they've added a couple of plans and informing him. But on the flip side, we have EDG, and while EDG definitely got outclassed in the Vici series, this is still a mostly, it's got more LPL pieces in the lineup than on the side of FPX. So initially, I definitely have EDG as the favorite in this match, though not by a ton, because they haven't looked necessarily outstanding, and they do tend to get a little messy towards the mid and late game, which if you give FPX a couple of opportunities, they could pull off a miracle game. Over under 30 kills for Bo3 tonight. That is a, you know, it's a good question. Very good question. Up in that top lane, he's up against Cube. Yeah, and that is definitely a 40 kill series for our boy Bo3. Not even 30. He's just gonna slap that man over and over again. Alright. Into the draft for game number 1. Yeah, you love to see it. Let's go, boys. Either way, this first series should be fun because it's also a third place match. Yes, EDG probably have more in for it. Just like trying to win it because the organization has just not had a whole lot to say about their league team, and getting third place in something in the past couple years is going to be a welcome sight for the EDG fan base. Okay, interesting enough, we see double mid bans already, which is a little wild. LeBlanc and Rumble ban when there's so many other champions that can be an issue. Why is LWX playing in this? Well, before it was LWX and Crisp. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if FPX decided to start their academy AD carry if they had him available. I'm not sure if they put him on the roster. I think for the next roster, LWX is the only available one. Shen Yi, I also believe, wasn't on the original roster, but because of health issues for Crisp, they were able to get an emergency sub. But, you know, you'd like... if your Academy AD carry isn't that good to begin with, or you just don't think he's worthwhile to trial, then why not just have LWX get more games, you know? I don't know. I'm not super sure about the reason. Mostly because I just don't know enough about the LDL scene that I can be like, ah, yes, he is definitely worth a trial. Alright, so we have a very aggressive opening coming out from EDG, very early mid-game centric. You have the Pantheon, you have the Renekton, but you also have this Lilia that will be able to play to both of these lanes, so it's a decent setup here. On the flip side, you have Graves, Leona, and Volibear. Of course, the Volibear is used to try and neutralize that top lane, and does do a very good job of doing so. You know, at least today, it won't be too intensive of a stream since it's only 2 series today. Thoughts on the late game? Vici is favored, but I really like Rogue Warriors and how well they played chemistry-wise last night. I think Vici deserves the status of favorites because they played a cleaner controlled style. And if you can play a control style, you're going to be able to... I don't really have the ability to turn up my mic. I mean, like, speaking up, I can only do so much, though. It's 12 a.m., you know? Yes, it's a weekend, but I'm not planning on really yelling. Although I technically... yeah, it's also been, whew, long days. We finally reached the end, boys. Although I could switch to my other mic, which will allow me to get closer up. But sitting back for the most part Has anyone told you that you sound like Biofrost? I think I've heard that a few times, but alright, so second phase we have Galio Kaisa and then Zoe Ashband out. Both teams allocating a ban into the bot lane and mid lane. And okay, set mid, so set mid here or the Pantheon mid. It could be Pantheon mid. I actually like that little bit of open-endedness. Unfortunately, it's straight into a Orianna, so it kind of doesn't matter. But actually, you can put the Pantheon into the mid lane in the setup. You're going to have a little bit of kill pressure into that mid lane against the Orianna, and the set does really well into the Leona. So I would have preferred that matchup, but when you do have the set in the mid lane, you are going to get tankier than if you have the set in the bot lane. So I respect both options here. Who I think is going to win this? I favor EDG. As you can also kind of hear in my voice, it's a little bit worn out. And I would mostly say it's because of yesterday and the day before, because what we had I had a 14-hour stream, took a quick nap, like 3-hour nap, straight into a cast that went 3 games, so that was a 3-hour endeavor. And then I pretty much went straight into the 8-hour stream. So the past, in that 48 or 36-hour time span, I was talking for 14, 8, so that's 22, 25 hours. So 25 out of 36 hours. So it was a taxing day for my voice. So you can kind of hear a little bit. Oh boy. Maybe he is Biofrost. I wish I was Biofrost. To a certain degree. He's definitely getting a lot more hate than he should be getting, though. I left FPX's comp better late game. I also agree. I think their late game setups more reliable, having the MF Orianna, especially with the composition that EDG have. They're going to be very in your face, which is exactly where Orianna and MF want you. If they don't have the reliability to just get onto backline, it is really, really nice for FPX come late game. Lilia should camp top lane. That should be the plan. There's also decent gank possibilities in the mid lane because of the set, or yeah, so you can definitely find his way onto the Orianna. And we saw some really spicy things like the Ike's Forge duo being able to find that kill onto what? Oh, it was 0909. Yeah. They were able to find the gank onto 0909 in the semifinals. That was really, really clean. Really, really clean. And Orianna has less tools than Syndra to get out in that situation. What rank am I in League? Not very good. How long have I been watching covering? I have been watching since season 2. Back in the day where it was those TSM weeklies or whatever. I started watching them. That's a whole lot of damage. Oh wait, the MF is on the flip side. Jesus, I'm really fucking high. What the hell? Let me reassess the composition. Well, it's still better for FPX in the late game, right? Because the Ezreal just gets to play by himself and it's LWX. So if he's put in a situation to clean up, he's going to be just fine. But yeah, I am silver rank. I played like 200 games this season, so I'm not that good, and I didn't put enough games in to get good this season. I've been able to hit gold before, but those were seasons that I actually were more focused on playing the game, and this season the past couple of years, I've been like, this year I will grind. And then I'm like, well, it's the last day. Okay. Whoops. For EDG, it's about snowballing the early game and hitting mid game really hard. They're also heavily reliant on this Lilia pick to succeed because otherwise they are a full AD composition. Turn the game sound up a little bit. Okay, I can turn it up a little bit. Oh, yeah. It's because I have my regular sound, or my regular desktop sound is really low. Playing Worlds Patch seems kind of troll. I think it's a better viewing experience for the casual viewers because, I mean, remember this tournament started right on the new patch too, so if they went straight for that, that would have been a mistake. They don't have minions. Okay, now they have minions, and this should be an easy kill, yeah. Really well done by EDG at that point, but there was definitely a little bit of a moment there. Broken Blade, second best player on that team. At Worlds, Biofrost gets too much hate. I don't think Broken Blade was the worst player on there. I would have said Doublelift. He was he wasn't very good. Broken Blade was certainly very hit or miss, but when you're talking about who you would rather keep, I would definitely keep Broken Blade over Doublelift at this point. Okay, so other thing is no spoilers. So I'm gonna throw you into a timeout for 10 minutes. I am not really entertaining the spoiler thing today. Like, you get 10 minutes to just reflect. It's fine. 10 minutes later, you get to rejoin, hang out with the chat. The game will still be going on. FPX needs Chris to solidify their bot lane even trash since he had to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's just synergy issues. 2v2s are a lot of synergy issues. if you just cannot figure things out. Bio and double were laughably bad. They were definitely very bad. But it was, I don't know, it was really strange.
他应该是看到鳄鱼交了 E 之后，方 pass 这边才决定动手的。
那这波就挺亏的。
Yeah, worst off season, worst top laner, pretty not great. ADC, linear change at mid lane. Mid lane is fine. Okay, so Insulator has made his way over this time around. 0909 goes in, but that's really just to try and disengage. Of course, he's got a lot of durability over Sloth, so you're fine in him walking up to try and peel people off. Who is my favorite team in NA? As a fan, I'm mostly a TSM fan. However, it's been a really sad couple times. It's been a sad time. It's also been incredibly frustrating to watch. That team. It's been a rough time. Ooh, okay. That's actually really good, but does end up trading. And since the kill went onto support, it's like not a real win. You know? I think TSM may not have gotten Sword Art. Reggie just tweeted sad stuff. Okay. I think it's unfortunate. I don't like. It's really unfortunate that double lift. So, my opinion was that you should have ran back that same roster, the initial double lift roster. Because they would have been able to maintain synergies, but I was very against the run back when they brought double lift, they brought bio back. I thought that was very pointless. They had a good run, you know. They were able to win finals, but that was more, I felt like that was more an overperformance because of the fact that that team from a strategical standpoint just didn't figure it out. I thought the player talent was there, but on a strategic level and from like a draft perspective, they were not even close. They were not even close. So, the Sword Art thing. Well, the reason why Treats didn't get to play was because Bio just didn't like Treats. He just didn't like him. I believe it was it was like Biosven or Sven, not Zven, but Sven. Biosven, double Bjerg, and I believe it was Haunter. But that was like the 2016 roster. They're honestly like they're in a good spot for AD carry if double lift leaves, because they would be able to promote Lost, who is their Academy AD carry, I believe. And he's also an OCE player, so that would mean he counts as a native player, which means you can still try and look for an import and whatnot.
如果说是那波由上抓到了，那还是可以接受；没抓到，那就是比较亏。
I think the ceiling was there because it seemed like they found things that worked. But then when it came to Worlds, they went away from what worked, which was playing around the solo lanes and being a lot more aggressive in those areas. Like, get Broken Blade a 1v1 match up top, you know? It was just strange. Very, very strange. Oh, that's a huge ult. Oh man. Oh, FPX is out in no man's land. So long, friend. Yeah. BBD looking like BDD. What does Bile have to do with not liking treats? Well, no, it was the so when they brought both supports, there was never actually a chance for treats to actually start. And even when he did start for a short bit, Double Lift was like, no, fuck this guy. It was really unfortunate. He's not going to be on T1. I forgot what the rumors were for Effort. Oh, was it Afrika? Effort Afrika? Maybe that was it. I don't know. There's some possibilities. Ooh, nice kill. Nice roam coming in from Sloth. Sloth actually looks pretty good on this Pantheon pick. Yeah, Nest has not been kind for Mr. Insulator. He looked okay versus RNG, though that was more RNG sucking. Wait, what? I'm confused. Well, Sword Art isn't working out because he's getting double taxed because Taiwan ain't got any other issues. Yeah, it's some of the taxing issues. As an import. So, if you told me you were able to get Sword Art 3 years ago, I would have said go for it. Because of the fan base, I don't know if at this point you bring him over. I still think he's a very good support. He's definitely a top support in LPL. But again, okay, good flash. Flash cleanse. Really, really nice there. Actually, really sick. I believe Mr. Bear is going in hibernation. So EDG have really, really just taken this run away with this game so far. They're doing the same things they did in NA, just didn't work in Caliber. No, not quite. Yes, the Zillion thing was an issue, of course.
其他人没那么硬，但莉莉娅这个时候在中期会开启这种比较怎么说呢？比较不容易开起来的团战，保龄球滚到两个人一个大招睡，这种就其实是挺厉害的一个点。
A lot of their other draft strategy fell away too.
但是镀层确实 EDG 这边拿的不是很多。闪现指没有指到啊，这莉莉娅移速还是太快了。
莉莉娅太滑了。这样子的话，其实FunPlus虽然说
F-Double was willing to work with Treats. Well, like the lane phase was fine. The issue was Treats was calming too much, which I would say is probably similar to what would have happened if Smoothie was on the roster, but he didn't play with Smoothie. Double Lift just he likes a quiet partner. Take it as you will.
现在 EDG 在这个时间点可以去稍微把边线处理一下，
先锋直接怼中就好了，然后尽可能的去开团。这里来了，
直接
给大妈，没有睡，再等，先把这边破掉。
Ooh, nice little damage there, and they delete that man. Oh man. Shen Yi just it's not been a good time for him. Hindsight, top sports group was easiest. Forget that what was the top sports group, but
对，但是FunPlus 接下来他的这个劣势只会把这个裂口，就是这个缺口无限。
I wouldn't say they were. I would say the finals embodied the TSM year. Like you can summarize the year by just watching that series, where they just did not fully understand where they wanted to go, and then they somehow squeaked by. You know? And yeah, FPX is winning. We're currently playing a game of golf, so, you know, smaller numbers is better. Didn't go for the Irelias and just looking to hard slam top lane. That top lane group beyond Blippo should have been easily exploitable. Easily exploitable. Do FPX still have a chance? It's based on how effectively EDG are going to be able to close. EDG haven't been the smoothest team when it comes to closing. So if the game somehow hits 35 minutes with less than 4 or 5k gold, which is still a very tall task, then I would say FPX would be able to pull things back. But right now it's in a state where it feels like the dam's about to just burst, you know? They played Irelia top lane quite a few times.
感觉这把他们的重心都在这个峡谷先锋处。14级了。现在 EDG 会比较着急，他需要赶紧去利用。
All right, let's just move on from the TSM this year worlds, because I feel like we're just going around in circles. it does feel like we're just running around in circles.
左边利用自己的阵容强开能力，把团战开起来就好。是，胜利线只要打起团的话 ，EDG 是不会怕的。
In the FPX, so FPX RNG, the reason why FPX was able to pull that one back, in the most part, was because ED or RNG got really desperate for random reasons. Oh, goodbye Shenyi again. Feel like I've seen that before. Now Xiaoshang, he is out of there. Oh, that was a great Oriana. That was a fantastic Oriana ult to try and keep things isolated. Unfortunately, they were not able to grab enough.
第一时间他们想去开一个色题，但是色题因为有一个 W 实在是太恶心人了，
色题是个大肉啊，
对
，3000多血量。
但是鳄鱼刚才的那个位置就是一个人挡了太久了，
他一个人拖住了对面后排啊。
Hello, Kanho.
滚到了
account created yesterday.
直接做到8条，而后面的话0909是解决掉了男枪。 但是发条这里就杀掉了一个，第二个有没有机会？色题啊，跑不掉了。
加速跑1道。
I don't know what you really have to say for yourself, but
也死掉了，有没有机会大龙呢？
感觉可以去。
因为前排很厚实嘛。是。
Thanks for stopping by.
算了。
他可能怕，因为这波中路的话，狗熊踢过来把中路线抢了。
想打吗？ 算了算了
I don't like.
莉莉娅是刚回家补给了。哎，但这里想在野区里抢一下有点过分了。
It's just like you put them into the corner for 10 minutes and you're like, all right, just reflect upon your actions, and then they're like, how about not? But you know, Kanho has a lot of numbers after his name, so you know maybe we'll get a revisit from Kanho 356567. You know?
先晕到了男枪，但男枪只吃到了边缘的弹幕时间的伤害。
是的，这边也是直接做爆裂武士下来，发条没有拉到人，这一波感觉要靠男枪了。
Are they actually staying for the 50-50? They are going for the 50-50? Hello? Wait, what? Okay, alright. They secure Baron, they get the kills, and they are able to get the wipes. Kanho 69. I mean, it fits the hoe part, right?
那这样的话，不光是拿下了这条大龙，还换掉了对面3个人。现在只有双人组复活了，那这一把基本上是没什么翻盘空间了。
没什么翻盘空间了。
就 EDG 把这个阵容中期要打的东西基本上都打出来了，25分钟拿下了大龙，并且在人头上领先了16个之多。
现在1万块钱的经济差难顶。看一下这波。
Only chance for FPX to win is somehow securing Soul.
但是男枪这个位置是好像是没有能够吃到女枪的伤害。
Red side Graves versus blue side Set. Practice squad versus Diamond 5 Leona. God damn. Going in. How is FPX so bad? I don't know. They just keep... I don't know why they started this insulator guy over Doinby. It's really weird.
其实左边这个阵容有大龙 buff 以后，有一点很好，就是他前排很厚实。3个人往前一怼。
Apparently, Curse is getting quite a few offers. The OMG top laner.
放心眼，保炮车，哇！一发暴击，发条1/3血量没了。
And FPX are one of the bidders for him.
而且你也不敢轻易的开团啊！现在即使女坦开一个不错的团战，正面的伤害能力够不够？
What was the other one? RNG? No, I don't think RNG is. EDG? I think EDG made an offer.
中路色题，对，色题也把冰天带了过来。
WE made an offer as well. Yes. Yes. Evelyn tweeted.
好大
0909这个大招传送链路拉到3个人，这样的话可以一波带走了。
RNG offered, WE offered. It's RNG and WE. Those are the two teams. I would definitely say that FPX should throw an offer there too. Zero Koreans. Well, I mean, you're also like trying out academy rosters, and I believe for the most part, academy rosters are Chinese players, unless if they're like academy or like Korean players really looking for an opportunity, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, the Koreans are going to be back home. Holidays, and it's also just off season, man. Nah, man. Like, why can't they just enforce the contract? They gotta be like, we need to win Nest. It's the most important tournament of the year for us. You're not allowed to go home. I wouldn't even be surprised if he was just... Since he was technically listed on the roster, that he's just hanging out, chilling.
这个选出来，目前来看，比赛里的效果都是比较好的，胜率很高，而且团战美如画。看一下这边的数据情况，EDG伤害打的是很高啊，但是没有办法。左边这里虽然没有人伤害过2万，但是最终是赢下了。
It's a solid drop in the bucket
全场只拿了1条小龙
for Mr. Doing B. Probably makes that much in 1 week of streaming. If not, just a couple days of streaming.
测题第一波直接打破平衡，第一波的扛塔也是比较的完美，然后上路又传来捷报，鳄鱼是对完成了单杀。
Get him. Yeah, that's always a rip when your Volibear loses and dies. 1v1.
女坦第一时间没有去打断这个女强大招嘛。
Right, but you say that, but you have to split it among all the people that played. And if you all of a sudden just decide, we'll give a bigger cut to the academy players, then it's like, well, you might as well just have Doinby just donate money instead. And if Doinby is playing, then, you know, that's just one more mouth to split the cash with, or whatnot.
这波是比较惨烈的男枪被抱走，自己也跑不掉。
这里就开的有点不应该了。
First has 1-year contract with Zoom or with OMG, and the only valuable play that OMG can sell, so they can ask for a high price. Curse is the only yes.
想快点结束。
快点结束！你们不要走，为什么不推水晶？赶紧给我回来啊！确实，这场比赛因为阵容原因嘛，已经没有什么风量的空间了。那恭喜 EDG 吧，先拿下了赛点。那 MVP 是谁呢？来看一下。
Who's been announced? Anyone else announced? Let's see. Wild Turtle moving over to CLG is like RIP. Also, why did Dominus rename to TT? What the? Is it the same orc? Or is it the same sponsors? Or like why is it TT? That's like not the name of anything, is it? Jesus. See, Peanut is gone. I mean, that's expected. Ignar to EG. I think that was expected too. Okay, nothing surprising announced. Doinby is wiping his ass with $100 bill at this point. Does Doinby have a kid? I don't know. Yeah, I mean TT, that definitely reflects their goddamn roster. That roster makes all their fans go TT. Welcome back, everyone. This is, of course, our final day of Nest action. It is our third place game of EDG taking on FPX in our first series, of course, and they came out firing in game number 1, EDG taking that in a very, very convincing fashion. Never really felt like FPX stood a chance, to be honest, there, and this is probably the end of their run. It's been very rough, a bit tumultuous, as one might say. It's not been a great time for them, and for them to win game 2, not only do they need a good draft, they also need, I don't know, just like a complete refurnishing. Because what we've seen in the past 1 to like 6 games throughout playoffs, it's been bad. They don't move around the map, and they just sit in lane, hang out. When they get punched, then they're like, ah, yes, I should do something now. Maybe I should put my arms up. So they're always late. They don't react to the first play, and then they're late for the second one, where they're like, ah, right, they can do that. So it's a very a long uphill battle for FPX, or if they are to come back in the series. Reckless wouldn't go to TSM. Yeah, there was no way Reckless would leave EU for TSM, even with the money. Because he's taking less money to go to G2 than he would have made in Fnatic. How are you doing for 20? You missed out on a good time where we got to just ban someone. Nice. It's always good to take it easy. (2-0) I would say that there is a very high likelihood it is a 2-0. Drinking some whiskey, watching league. What kind of whiskey? Just regular? Do you got a favorite brand? 2-1 EDG. Messing around with Rocket Belt Nautilus. I see. I haven't played a whole lot of the new items. It was a pocket shot I got for free. Ah, I see. Nice. 2-1 FPX. If someone's actually taking 2-1 FPX, I guess the odds are you're getting are really wild. It would have to take a lot for me to even consider FPX even taking 1 game, much less 2. Like, that's like some, that's like some Washington football team winning the title kind of odds. If you give me those odds, I'll do it. Full AP Nautilus is back in. It's at least super fun. All right, let's not throw around rape as the term they use. That's not very good taste.
狗熊锁下来的话，中路拿什么打色题？卢锡安行不行啊？我觉得这把卢锡安可以拿。
Okay, so first round.
刚好也是弥补一下中野的这个伤害项。
Let's see. We have TF, Pantheon, Camille banned away, and it's same bans for the side of EDG. They look to be like, all right, well, Insular, you don't get to roam, but it does mean that they leave up. Lucian, and Lucian does get picked up. It could be LWX Lucian, because remember LWX did play Lucian.
没有骗到你们的班位，我很抱歉。
你们居然不尊重我。既然如此，那我还是玩莉莉娅吧。
And he did play. Play it earlier. Did they win with that? I forgot if they won with it. But I like the fact that they do have an AP jungler, which leaves it open-ended for them to play the Lucian into the bot lane or into the mid lane because you have that AP jungler. On the flip side, it's just the 3 pieces that they had from game number 1 that dictated a lot of the pace in the game. And again, you have these, the Lilia, you have the set, and you enable EDG to just go bot lane, which is exactly what they want to do 95% of the time. This is a team that will look to set up turret dives at level 3, 4, and level 6. Those are their favorite things to do. And it's very regular. They don't change that game plan too often. MF does get picked up here, and okay, it will be the Lucian into the mid lane. You can put Set into that matchup, that's completely fine. And it looks like they're going to be more than 2. And again, Alistar is a champion. Once he hits level 6, he's going to be incredibly happy. I would not go for this play. Syndra is very much a fine line mid lane matchup. So this game hinges upon this mid lane matchup. I don't know why you would opt for a 50-50 here. To just flip mid lane when there wasn't a need to. But whatever. Not gonna read too deep into that one. Other than that, for the side of FPX, what are the pieces they're going to be working around? It's going to be that Nidalee, that Lucian, and the Volibear. This bot lane is just going to kind of hang out by itself, which is really, really, really bad. Because it means that they're going to have to fend off 4 people, possibly even 5. They could just bring down the Renekton. Throw down a teleport ward, teleport onto that ward, and just go full raid boss. But I fully expect FPX to see a lot of attention, or in that FPX bot lane to see a lot of attention. They're gonna have a lot of friends, and they don't have good intentions. Again, the scaling is nice for FPX, and I guess they're just drafting to be like, you know, if we make it to 35 minutes, we could win. I guess that's what they're thinking when they're going into these drafts, because they're not able to keep up in the early game or mid game at all. So I guess they're just trying to hedge as well as they can. Okay, we are going into game, and time to find out if they indeed can keep up in this early game to make things tighter, or if it ends up being very similar to what we saw in game 1 where people just got run over. EDG was minus 400 during game 2. Minus means favorite, right? FPX comp isn't that bad, but I think it's too hard for them to execute. It's not too hard. They don't have ways to just run in, which I think could be the issue, but you know, you're getting plenty of initiation help from EDG in that regard, because they have Renekton, they have Set who just want to run at you. So if it gets to that point, they'll be fine. Minus 400 means you have to bet 400 and make 100. Okay. So in odds, that would be 1.25. Plus 125 means you have to bet 100. Okay. And that would be 225. Yeah, the small odds make more sense to me. I've never seen fractional odds. Who has the better draft here? This one's definitely contingent on like what you would say better draft. Like, do they have the late game draft or whatnot? You know. I think it really just comes down to how well does this mid lane perform. Because Syndra, if she's able, this is a razor thin edge in this matchup. If whichever champion gets the kills or gets the first kill in this lane, just gets the snowball, just kind of gets out of control in that regard. You like the FPX comp more? I do as well, but the big worry is the fact that they just can't seem to figure out early mid game. But so far, they have a gold lead. Do you think this gold lead is quite significant for this time? It's what, 800 gold for 5 minutes? Where's the gold from? Oh, it's top lane. Top and jungle. Yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Very nice. Xiaoshang also gets locked down there. What? Wait, hello? So he gets himself that first blood kill. Unfortunately, he loses a bunch of minions at his tower, which I think is the bigger issue. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so it ends up being definitely not worth for the Lucian. If he had teleport, he would have been able to somewhat salvage that situation because you'd be able to teleport back into the mid wave, catch that extra EXP. But now, 0909, yes, he doesn't have a level 6 window necessarily, but the extra stats are going to be really nice, and he's going to hit level 9 faster. Fractional odds in horse racing? Okay. Fractional odds are American. Guess I just didn't see enough Vegas odds. I guess I also didn't bet in Vegas. Ooh, okay, that was actually a really good flash. Oh, these are the damage, the bully guns. Sloth kind of trolling. Oh, but, oh, okay, that was actually really well done. Okay, 1 for 1, but Aphelios gets the kill, so ends up being a pretty good dive coming in from FPX because wait, okay. Insulator gets that kill in the mid lane, so that pretty much nullifies his weird play in the top side. But he's also going for Blade of Rune King, which means that I firmly believe now that EDG's comp is going to outperform. Do you bet on these games you cast? I do not. I've never bet on sportbooks or in the sportbook setting. I've done, I do DFS sometimes. I just think it's more enjoyable to watch DFS stuff. Mostly because I like how it's similar to fantasy football. You know, just seeing points on the board, yada yada. It's more game-like, you know. What the fuck? What the hell was that? Literally, just everyone dies on the side of FPX. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, hello? Oh, he just eats it. He just ate like 3 Qs. Oh. And this is also why... This is also why MF is such a dumb champion sometimes, and it's a really good boosting champion. Because lower level players end up doing exactly what he does. Stand behind the minions, and you just keep getting hit by double ups. You just keep eating double ups. You stack EDG with Road Warriors tonight? I favor both of those teams. But maybe Vici, you know, if they're able to maintain their clean look and, you know, Forge continues to perform as well as he has been, that would be Vici's window where they can really abuse that. Bear is trolling. Bear is doing something. But Lilia definitely in a fantastic spot. And everything falls onto this Lucian, but Lucian is going for Blade of Rune King, which is like sad. Really sad. You should be going Merc Treads or Hex Drinker in this build into the Manamune. This is why Manamune Lucian is really good, because you're scaling up. Once you actually get the transformation, you pop off hard, but it's also incredibly cheap, so then you can have the extra flexibility to spec into magic resistance, so you don't get one-shot slapped by Syndra and Lilia. And I think the bear is dead again. Alright, buddy. That's Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the Renekton ultimate definitely a little bit overkill. However, so looking at this game, you definitely have to say that FPX have improved over game 1 in that they are trying to move around the map. They've accumulated the gold lead as well, so they're sitting at 2,000 gold. And on paper, they're looking better. Can FPX win this game? It's possible from this point here. My issue is the Syndra has her Ludens now, and I look up and down. The only one, I guess 2 people you're not bursting would be the Volibear and the Nidalee. But you can one-shot the Lucian very easily, which is their mid-game damage right now. This man hits hard, but the Syndra just puts him in the dirt. And then the Philios, he's been farming a ton of plates. He's actually really in a really nice position as a champion. But does he actually get the opportunity to do anything in these fights is the question. Oh, that was a lot more damage than I expected. Okay. It's probably just gonna ult. Yeah. Oh.
哇，这一波风龙马上要刷了，但是这个时候莉莉娅的大招、鳄鱼的大招以及女枪的大招都没了。
EDG 这一波肯定要放的。这风龙要不了了。
对，因为才第2条而已。
Why, hello there. It's time to put your mod work, your mod powers to work, buddy.
没偷到嘛就放了。对，反正我技能也交光了。
EDG 老运营了。
Thank you, iErasure, for stopping by. I appreciate it. I hope you stick around so I can play ads for you. You're welcome.
他其实现在的话，2000块钱的经济差，他是可以去接受的。先去开这个锤石吗
？What do you think percent for both teams to win? That's a tough one here. It's an interesting time so far. Today. In what? This has only been 2 hours? It's been like... yesterday it took like 6 hours to get to this amount of monkey. Oh, wait. Are you fluent in Portuguese, Pablo? A little. Oh, baby. I have a Portuguese mod at last. Who has the better scaling? The EDG comp is really good, except for the Renekton. If Lucian is properly positioned in fight, the other thing is like the Lucian items are like really suboptimal. You went Blade Rune King into Essence Reaver, which is like, the FPX composition is more solid, and because of the fact that you have Renekton in set, the Aphelios gets to play the game. It was a bit differently, I would say, and the Aphelios doesn't get to play the game, even if Aphelios scales well as a champion, he just wouldn't scale well into that comp. But I don't think it's the margins are that insane. I don't think the margins are that insane here. Oh, Seth's getting desperate. Ah, Set players. Gotta love them. That was an ambitious teleport.
救下普攻是有心带走了辛德拉。
怎么会从这个位置过来打呢？
而且他一个辛德拉从
Ambitious teleport, guys.
对，这就很离谱。大招也给过去了，这个伤害明显是不够的。
Here's a question: what champion is the most underplayed at each position, highest level competition? For top, I think it's Alawi. Alawi is because she has very specific matchups she does okay in. I went EDG RNG on DraftKings. Appreciate your streams. Hitting Xiaoshang Renekton. Renekton, yeah. I understand what they're trying to do. They were able to get a lot of they were able to feed a lot of gold. Alright, Hari, like, we've been over this. You can't just throw that in to the stream and just advertise your book without actually being a participant in the stream. Yeah, you can't just advert without giving me anything, you know? Like, come on. You throw down a fat dono, I'll consider it. There's something called paid advertising. Just give me a really fat pay. English is definitely much preferred. But, you know, I've been allowing... I'm a little open on these streams because it's just the game and people want to talk about the game. Now, if it's like my personal stream, then for sure I'm just like anything besides English or maybe, well, actually not even Chinese, since my Chinese is fucking dog shit. Anything besides English is just out of the question. I did go to the University of Minnesota. Could be going the distance, boys. And honestly, we're seeing a lot of improvement from FPX in the fact that Shen Yi put onto a champion that's not running in means that the game's a lot different. He's literally just sitting back. Like, look at his positioning. He's just sitting back to be like, LWX, if you need a lantern, I'm here. Who's the better team between these two teams? On paper, it's definitely EDG. Need to ban out Lucian first off. Lucian is... Whew. Lucian, baby. I love Lucian. Watching Lucian. Playing Lucian as well. They're equally buns. I like that.
睡到了2个，看一下能不能抓住这个机会。
没有敢开大。
没有睡。
They get themselves a Baron on top of that.
就不太可能翻，真的，现在就这个时间运用的版本。
Pretty clean play. It's been a little bit slow and controlled here now that FPX finally been able to really grow this lead, but it's a pretty monumental lead, even though the kill score doesn't reflect it, which I always love. I do enjoy a game of League of Legends where the kill score is either super low or super close, but then you look at the gold and it's like, whoa, where's all this gold?
EDG 来说的话，这把真是没办法翻，他这个阵容感觉打到后期也不厉害。
这个厄斐琉斯已经是像神一样了。
神一样的男人。
是的，又出了一把黄叉。直接大招，但是放空了。
That's one alt gone. Ooh, let's go. Lucian things. Too fast. Can't keep up. I gotta say, the Syndra play has not been too inspiring. He looks like he's having jitters. Because the time when he ulted the Volibear, or when he had that weird teleport, he ulted the Volibear instead of just going for an EQ or a QE.
虽然没有能够补给，但是卢锡安这个位置有点危险，交出一个闪现 ，EDG 也治疗出加速之后 A 掉了。
这一波方布拉斯已经打得很
Run! Get out of there! Get out of there!
回头想硬换，但是换不掉，装备差距太大了。
Woo! Big ol' heal from that chomp. And we are going to game 3, boys. You wanted to see some League of Legends? We've got League of Legends. FPX managed to tie things up. And honestly, it was pretty clean. Pretty clean once they were able to really get a hold of the game. Where is Doinby? I'm asking the same questions, man. Like, this should be an easy first place finish, but somehow they're just here with this insulator guy. Like, who is this guy? Oh, he's a mid laner that can play Lucian? Ah. Probably better than Doinby then. Ouch. Alright, well, with that, thank you guys very much for tuning in. As always, if you like the stream, hit that follow button. If you want to support the stream, consider... I've got 3 ways to support. You can donate, there's bits, there's, of course, Prime Gaming. If you have a Twitch Prime or what is now known as Prime Gaming available to you, you can sub to any streamer once a month for free without having any tax on to yourself. And of course, if you don't know what that is, if you have Amazon Prime, you can indeed connect your Amazon account to your Twitch account, and that will give you Prime Gaming as well. So with that, I am going to send it over the ad break, and I will see you when we get back.
从头领先到尾，这一把 EDG， 你看他那个整个的经济曲线没有一点点红色，
是，一点场子都没有找回来。
是的，而且方布拉斯，你看不论是第一把输掉了还是第2把赢了，他们对于小龙的控制都会比较好。
结果打很 很凶，被换掉了。
下路的这波越塔，
在闪现出塔，
侧提示过去，硬换掉了一个满是飞轮的李伟翔。其实这一波还是 EDG 找回点场子的，虽然说先锋没有拿到，但是在人头的交换上赚了。
对。这一波也打得不错，是把狗熊杀掉了。
对的。这把 MVP 我要给小七。所有人都在这边打，小七一直在抗压。
我觉得小七这把应该伤害转化率蛮高的。
他的成伤占比一定也很高。
也很高，他一直被抓，一直被针对。
你看，这希德拉大爷打在他脸上。
这就是最后一波了，已经。
这波开的还是不错的，不过装备差距太大了，
伤害不够。
哇，2个闪现过来追。
最后已经打得比较随意了，因为这把其实局势已经在后半段已经完全确立了。
是的，那我们就恭喜 FPX 成功的扳回了1分，现在双方战成了1比1平。为了季军的争夺，还在相互的努力着，
打得很焦灼。
对的，那这把 MVP 你觉得会给谁呢？
你刚刚说要给小七，
但是我觉得可能是给厄斐琉斯。
我也觉得
数据太好了，
数据比较滑。都不是，
都不是。
我们的游戏
给到了豹女
出现了问题，
因为豹女这里死的比较少嘛，
而且她。
输掉上一场比赛的一起来主动选边，我们这边等一下消息，应该是蓝色啊，没什么道理，对吧？这次比赛蓝色方不论是 BP 的好做程度，还是整体胜率，都是占便宜的。
对，占便宜的。
是的。
所以就有时候就觉得 BO3 打满的话，感觉是第一把赢的那个队伍比较占优势。
为什么？
因为第一把赢了，第2把不选兵，第3把又要选蓝色方。
有道理。那这样的话 ，EDG 果然是选择了蓝色方。我们稍微休息一下，回来看双方的决战，决出这一次的季军。
别玩了，干点正事儿。
凭什么？玩就是正事儿。
胜局了 ，EDG Fun Plus 谁能够拿到2020 NEST 的季军？8万块。
我们季军的争夺赛还是非常的激烈的。
哎，这个我觉得粉丝还是很为我们选手考量的。
对
吧？而且因为 NEST 的奖金是公布出来的嘛。
是。
其实你看，我们解说了这么多年 LPL 的冠军多少钱？
哎，还真不知道呢。
对吧？
啊？
多少钱？
不知道。
你看，S 赛的冠军多少钱？
这个有公布，但我不知道。
哎，是的。为什么你知道吗？其实大家更多的还是在乎这个荣誉。因为奖金就感觉是附带的，那个荣誉是更关键的。
是的，
对吧？
而且我们粉丝去看比赛的话，这个奖金也跟大家没啥关系。
就是嘛，我们为什么要去关心那些就是我们没什么关系的事情？
对，
又不给我
身外之物。
但是你看，刚才我们现场的粉丝就非常的关心，说明他们关心选手的每一个细节。
是的。
好，那到底这一份荣誉的归属是谁，还是要看最后的一盘决战。两边是各打了一局好局。上一把基本上 EDG 全程是没什么反手的机会。虽然你看先锋那波团打到了，但是先锋是被蓝方拿下来。那借由这个先锋呢，又是拿到了医学塔。那个真的就从头到尾吧，找不到什么太好的机会。
对，我觉得整体确实是仰仗了前期豹女的一个节奏，当然也跟3路兵线的优势、3路推线权是分不开关系的。而且不光是这一局，其实你去回顾第1局的时候，也是有新的那个打野节奏会更好一点，在前期控资源。
但是杰啊，2把下来，其实他的数据都是比较华丽的，对不对？第1把拿到了 MVP， 然后第2把。他莉莉娅虽然是输掉了，但是他的数据也是比较好的，包括一些 gank 的意识也是比较到位。
只能说两边打野的风格不同吧，一边可能是资源型打野、控图型打野，另一边呢比较喜欢 gank， 帮助队友去起节奏。
杰的 gank 能力还是很强，你看，包括他用莉莉娅这种，他其实刷是相对较少的，一直在帮线上的队友。
是的，舍己为人嘛。
来了，双方的最终对决，这回 EDG 又是回到了蓝色方。但是像第1把拿了那么舒服的潘森，我觉得应该不太会给出来了。
因为第2把都搬掉了之后取胜了嘛，第3场也搬掉。谁拿到潘森，谁在前期就有一定的就是全图的节奏发起的主动权。
选手们也是要稍微的讨论一下啊，上一把兄弟们哪里打得不错，哪里打得一般。然后探讨一下，刚才那个裁判，那应该是我们裁判工作人员还是战队的工作人员啊？旁边，哎，翔哥，你上把打得很好，继续，就按照刚才那样。
然后翔哥刚才那个表情就是难免有一些腼腆和害羞。
好，果然这种大 C 啊。一些有经验的这种 AD 拿出来，线上一旦给他拿到了优势，其实真的有点不可阻挡。
对，不可阻挡，像奥恩一样。
对，就虽然说他会有一些，比如说像下路去压制被击杀，但是对他没什么大影响。
对，因为其实他那一波被击杀，并不是说是被追逐，因为劣势很大被击杀，而是因为自己。
All right, hello and welcome back.
是的。
It is our game number 3 for this first series. It is the 3rd place match between FPX and EDG, and we are going straight into draft.
感觉 EDG 不用去管这个潘森，这个潘森可能要由方 pass 来搬。
对，因为 EDG 刚才潘森拿出来效果还可以。继续搬兰博，
估计还是兰博妖姬吧。右边卡牌基本上班位没有怎么变。
Okay. That's a strange conversation we're having here in the chat. But if you actually are experiencing a lump, I would definitely get that checked out.
这把可能要看队伍的阵容。
我觉得盲僧应该不会搬的。
妖姬。
这 最后一手你没道理留给盲僧，我觉得你要选就选嘛。这英雄这个版本一般，还是颁奖了豹女。
豹女。
哎，
莉莉娅呀，拿莉莉娅还是男枪？我觉得他们队伍拿莉莉娅可能好一点。
Anyways, bans are through. Lucian gets banned by EDG this time around, so actually covering all their bases. Like, holy moly, why didn't they just do that before? And then they're going to go for a first pick Galio. What? Okay. Sure. Lilia available, Graves available, Kindred available. Jace is a good matchup into the Galio if they want to go for it eventually. But it will be Graves. Graves locked in. And Zoe left available and they go straight for the Zoe. So Zoe Galio is whatever. It's pretty whatever. 0909 can't int as hard and be useless on Galio, or can he? Well, when he's put on these tanks and roamers, he's had pretty solid success, like the set that we just saw in Game 1. When he's forced to lane, I don't know if it's just because of the what's on the other side of the lane, but he's had some struggles. Zoe has indeed been banned a decent amount, but I wouldn't say it's been heavily banned. Lee Galio, very aggressive draft here. It's a very, very, very aggro draft from the side of EDG, and they've got some nice pieces too. This is again a composition that is just going to be diving bot lane. At level 6 on Galio for sure. So if the Zoe pick didn't get locked in, and they still had the Renekton, you could move Renekton into the mid lane. Renekton does, of course, win lane against the Camille very hard. But, of course, the issue is Camille gets to do things afterwards, and Renekton doesn't really offer too much afterwards. Philios, Kaisa, Kench, and Leona banned out. They could look for a Rakan. If I'm EDG, I don't really care about the Rakan. I worry more about the Thresh that could come out, because the Thresh could be, should be able to protect the Xayah to a certain degree. This is a really strange draft. Alright, so ends up being... Wait, what? No. Is it actually a Ziggs? Well, they are lacking a little bit of magic damage, and the Xayah matchup is pretty whatever. But pairing the Ziggs with the Alistar, I guess you're trying to gank mid as much as possible, which just isn't EDG game plan. So they're going to go back over to the MF, of course. It does emphasize the fact that they are lacking in magic damage because of the Galio. But anytime you're able to get Jijia onto this Lee Sin, teams are going to, or EDG will look to put them in position to succeed. It's very similar to like Xiaolong Bao on his very niche champions. Jijia has a better champ pool than Xiaolong Bao in my opinion, but he still excels on a couple of those niche champions as well. Ziggs hard counter Zoe.
太符合。
是的，这可能是选手个人要去玩的英雄了吧。
I mean, the Ziggs is going to be sitting bot lane, so you're not really drafting for that mid lane matchup. Galio isn't really a counter to Zoe, it's just a neutral lane. Both, it's neutral because both champions get to do what they want to do, but they don't interact with each other at all.
我觉得粉丝这样的心态非常好，这样也不会给到选手太大的压力。
这个就是大家选手也会尽力的在舞台上去给大家来进行这个比赛，对吧？打的也是比较精彩，大家看起来也比较开心。
I'll be legitimately impressed if FPX win with this comp. Galio doesn't counter anything in lane. He just neutralizes. At best, he neutralizes.
加里奥加上卡米尔这个组合，期待了许久，终于在季军争夺战的最后一场里面登场了。
飞驰弹道的一个组合。
其实你说第一轮拿人啊，盲僧不着急拿，先把卡莎拿了。
Compositionally, he can counter things. Like if you have a super aggro composition that just runs straight in. Wait, win rate doesn't say anything though. Like how does the champion kit interact? Like win rate is surface. It gets the conversation started, but then you need to talk about why. It's a conversation starter. It's like an icebreaker. You know? It gets the conversation started. Well, what are you feeling draft win? I think FPX's draft is better. They're a little more flexible in what they can do. It's kind of weird that they have Xayah Rakan. But for the side of EDG, this is a very EDG composition where they just get to do what EDG does, which is dive bot lane level 6 when Galio hits level 6. Yeah, like Zillion doesn't counter shit in lane. It's a hard composition. It's all about the composition. How it fits whatnot. So again, like win rate is a great conversation starter, you know? It's like going to a speed date session and be like, I love sex. Alright, great. Thank you for the start of the conversation. Now the conversation is dead, but you started something. Nice little headbutt. Here comes Jijit. Gets the X score. That's what the flash was for. Doesn't get the kill, and LWX gets ripped to shreds. Who doesn't love sex? Alright. Obviously some people just some people just not. I think the third ball needs to be checked out. think the third ball needs to be checked out. But you definitely need to... Oh, that is... interesting. 1 for 1, but the Camille definitely wins out in that exchange. Why have sex when you can fuck them bras every day? True. True. 姐姐 and Lee Sin getting fed. Your comment is horrible, man. Also true. Reading chat and watching the game at the same time. Rough. You drunk? That's another kill. Well. Okay. Well, got it eventually. And Galio. Oh, baby! Yoshing bops him in the chest. Vici Gaming wins 2-0 versus Rogue. What are your thoughts? I honestly don't have like a really serious opinion about like what score could happen, because I think these two teams especially Rogue Warriors hasn't been contested at all in this tournament. So like Vici Gaming would be their first test, and I don't know how Rogue Warriors will perform. Whoa, we don't use that kind of language, buddy. Oh, that's rough. That's Galio going down, and Galio 0-2. A little uncomfortable. FPX have the tools here. Gold is even, and as the game goes on, it's gonna get harder and harder. Because with how far behind the Galio is, you've got 0 magic damage now. Even though mid-game you would have had like some. But now you're just like, well, it's doomed. But thankfully, it's not like Renekton's going to build into a hard or full armor tank. And really it just comes down to the basic Camille Galio combination of, alright, you go under tower, I ult you, we slam jam, and hopefully it's thank you ma'am. You know? Galio? Oh, Galio doesn't have ult. What? Oh, wait. Did Sloth troll? No, he didn't. Ah, easy clap. Oh, that was... Oh, baby! You love to see clean Lee Sin mechanics. I like that. I don't like Lee Sin in compositions, but I love watching Lee Sin. You know? And now it's Silk. EDG win? I think it's hard to say off of just that play. but you know, because LWX he gets to farm a bunch of plates again. This happened in game number 2 as well, where he just farms all these plates. Shen Yi, his job is solely to not hard run it down, and he's been successful in that. FPX bad in team fights. It's not the worst. It does look to be competitive, which is exactly what you would want to have in a third game, even if it is a third place match. Rift top makes most sense. Yes. Where's Rift? Ah, yes. You want first tower onto your Camille. And then you can continue to pressure. You probably take this tower too. Oh, they're in it. Oh, baby. Oh, man. This is so much fun. Yo, when you get to see Camille, Alistar, Lee Sin, those are some of the flashiest champions you get to watch. And it just makes the game fun, you know? And then on the flip side, you have the Zoe, also a very flashy champion. Were you around for Jungle Alistar? I probably was. I've been around for a very long time. Back when camps didn't murder you. Good times. Back when blue and red buff had small minions that you would donate to your bot lane so they hit level 2 faster and win the level 2. Alright, so we don't use that word, buddy. And yes, while I'm more about using English, when it comes to these streams, it's fine to use other languages. Just don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. English is not the end-all be-all. If you think it is, then that's it. Ooh, baby, I like that. And Insulator finally gets a good champ that he gets to perform on, but it feels like the rest of the game might be a little out of hand, but of course, we do know that the Lee Sin will eventually slow down, but it is looking very, very rough. It's about making it to that time in the game, and by that time, the issue is, well, then this Camille just is already mopping up everyone. The 5 kills on lead don't help, and FPX have kills on the right champs. I agree that a
好流畅。
the champion or kill gold is
你一般
better
玩什么
spread out.
小丑、狼人。
我要上单的话就是鳄鱼奥恩。
Buy your stream is very, very bad, man.
他是大树。
Learn drunk alcohol. Sure.
为什么我感觉就是从场面上看着 EDG 优势这么大，但是经济
I don't know what you're trying to say with that second half of the sentence, but sure.
对，
这是个小隐患。
小隐患，
对。
他得把这个东西。
Thanks for stopping by, regardless.
但是杰杰的盲僧嘛，我觉得给点不过分。哎呦，刚说完呀。
That's
但这个 R 给的一般，不过
an okay ultimate. It does force them off of the Zoe, which means that they are able to finish off the Zoe there. I mean, he's probably not coming back anyways, right? So the ban doesn't really matter. Right? You're just helping him out the door, as they would say. I mean, the caster is a silver. I agree. I agree. It's like if you want to come and listen to a silver player talk about League of Legends, when he says that Galio doesn't counter Zoe and Galio obviously does, then like, come on. Nice little taunt there. But he isn't much of a champion at the moment, aside from his ult. So whenever 0909 gets to have his ultimate, he gets to play the game. When he doesn't, well, he doesn't get to play the game. Then it's up to the rest of his team. And right now, we're having an all-in fight at 17 minutes in the game. Oh, that's a good flank. Ultimate comes in. That's a good spot. It would have been a good spot for Galio ultimate, but Galio doesn't have the ult. And it looks like they're going to have to disengage. Lee Sin able to get a kill on the back end, but that's all he can do. Xiaoqi flashing over to try and oh, he wants it. He's out of there. He's out of there. Oh, Insulator is in the party chamber, and Jia just keeps running circles. Jia is just running circles around him. Holy moly! Like, stop, man. Oh, their ankles. Who's the guy that had a lump on his testicle? I think he needs to bring FPX with them, because they also need to get checked out. Their ankles cannot be okay there. Oh, holy. My wrist would be, like, that's a carpal tunnel right there instantly. Instant carpal tunnel on the FPX roster. Like, oh my god, I can't follow him. Dr. Nightstar. Alright. We don't use that word in this chat. The only way to come back is if Lee Sin donates his shutdown to LWX. It's also possible he runs it down to the Zoe? Oh no, that wasn't towards you, Porcelain. Someone just threw it on the retard. word. And I'm like, we don't use that.
又到了大家熟悉的一个剧情，就是
We definitely do not use that
然后中路有压力
and accept that word in this chat.
全场经济领先，第二是小翔，这个上野现在优势太大了。
对。
但林伟翔依靠了他出色的兑现能力。
Calm down with them cool guy turns. Oh, he's out of there.
TP 过来一个左一前来支援，走得非常快。哦，睡是睡到青钢影，看能不能去终结一下。
Oh, he's gone. Oh wait, oh that was a big old bop. Not enough though. So if Insulator cashes in onto the shutdown on the Lee Sin, you know, he would be insanely massive, and at that point, there is a win condition. If he hits death cap on the Zoe, that is monstrous. That is monstrous. Oh, and that is another delivery. Oh, no. Thought it was prime delivery there. But turns out the Uber driver ran off with their food. That is second dragon obtained by EDG, and what we didn't get to talk a whole lot about in this series has been dragons, but EDG with Inferno Dragon available, this is really nice for them. It helps out in their damage profile quite a bit to actually stand up in team fights because they have a lot of single target damage on their Fed champions, which is the Camille and the Lee Sin. So they do need help in just straight up team fight damage, and the Inferno will help out a lot in that regard because it adds just that fraction of damage for the Galio, also makes the MF AoE ultimate much more impactful because as far as teamfight damage, you're overly reliant on the MF at the moment. That's a little rough, Viron. It's a tough pill to swallow. Alright, let's not tell him to double down. That's a first kill onto Shen Yi, and now that Shen Yi's put into an engage look, not having a great time. Jijia comes in, Galio ultimate goes down, and that's all they get off of it, but it's still the Renekton and the Renekton! Renekton. Renekton. So they're going to take that and then go ahead back off. Insulator, I think he's going for Void Staff at this point here. And look, you need people to talk to. There are plenty of people in chat that will have a good chat with you. And if they don't want to have a good chat with you, you know, most of them have been timed out or banned. So, we try and create a safe space. Obviously, I'm not promoting gambling, because I don't do it myself, and I think it's pretty foolish to throw out large amounts, but if you do gamble, make sure you do so in a responsible manner, and it's an amount you're comfortable with losing. That is how I put it.
马上火龙要刷了，这个对于 EDG 是个听牌龙，看一下方 plus 做什么这样的抉择，感觉也可以接呀，搏一搏。现在林伟翔伤害很高。
100% only when Nexus goes down, but it's a matter of time. Yeah. So, how I phrase it is, League of Legends is similar to boxing, where you can accumulate a lot of points, but then the other guy can just straight up knock you out, even though he has a point deficit. And it also holds that it's like, well, in boxing, you also don't necessarily know the amount of points, and in League of Legends, you don't necessarily know how far or exactly how far ahead or behind you are. Oh baby! Oh! If he was able to get that kill, it would have been everything. Oh, Jijia. Oh, he's going to go down. He actually dies. That's the shutdown for the Zoe, and all of a sudden Zoe cleans up. Zoe mops up. Zoe gets the shutdown, and Zoe is now on her way to a death cap. I hope. I see this Oblivion orb, and I'm a little bit nervous that he's going straight to the Morello upgrade. That would be, yikes. But again, remember, EDG, once this game gets later and later, they don't have a magic damage dealing champion. The side of FPX, they can just hard stack armor items. So you get GA onto LWX, you already have the Hourglass onto your Zoe, you get a GA onto the Graves as well, and all of a sudden you're looking really, really pretty. Unfortunately, this play, they just weren't able to, the Galio just wasn't in a position where he could help out. And as a result, Zoe things happened. There's all of a sudden a chance. There is a chance. There is a chance. One way or another, it's a very entertaining game from the start. We've had highlight moments with the Lee Sin, with the Camille, with the Alistar, and now we're starting to see Zoe really come into her own. She had a couple of moments early on, and now she's really starting to shine. Unfortunately, she did go for the Morello, which understandably gives her the biggest power spike. for an item completion, but I much rather would have liked to see the Medjais instead for that price point. JJ is taking a lot of damage. A lot of damage.
EDG 这波只能往后撤。
对 ，EDG 也是怕了，因为上一波打坏了，他怕这一波出事儿。
是的。
Hello, Fi. Welcome back. Thought you weren't gonna come visit us today. All right. Stay chill, Viron.
两边经济现在差距并不大，但是没有什么视野让卡米尔能够去切到后排。
Oh baby, Sloth is in it. Whoa. Goes in. They get the baby. They get the cages down, and oh lord, they are going off. They kill. Yeah, this is it. That's it. There was a moment, but the moment was gone. And EDG are going to be able to close this? That timer is 25? They should be able to end off of this. They have the teleports coming in, so it's just going to be what last ditch effort and trying to stave off. And indeed, it doesn't pay off. It does not pay off. And that will be EDG taking 3rd place in the NEST tournament. And unfortunately for FPX, just didn't have the chops. Didn't have the chops.
他们在最后一波团战的时候，被闪现开的老牛找到了机会。
对的。
配合加里奥以及青钢影。
还是不错的啊，这场比赛我觉得打的是非常精彩的。
You gotta be responsible with your money. It's like with anything. You know, you don't. You don't go. Too much of anything is never good. FPX with the 1-8 Renekton when Ornn was free. Yeah. Alright, let's not tempt him. Well, that was our first series, but for those who are looking to watch League of Legends, you know, the second series is probably what we came out to actually watch. Because it's Vici taking on Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors have had pretty much a very clean path to the finals. And Vici, they actually had a couple of tests. And they've been able to succeed in those tests. So I'm very excited to watch this matchup. I think Vici are the slight favorites. But personally, I do like Rogue Warriors because they've been more entertaining. They've been much more entertaining. Alright, now you cannot start spamming, you need money. If you start spamming give me money, that's definitely a reason to get banned. I'll say it, Rogue Warriors will win. So, Viron, you know, reflect upon your actions for 10 minutes, man. It's like any sort of gaming. You gotta be responsible.
哦，刚才应该是 R 过去一个闪现触发了 W 杀掉了。
就是一波正式的团战。这波是盲僧，后面为了野区杀这个盲僧，这个把兄弟们都给带走了。
All right, anyways, that's
这个位置也蛮危险的。
going to be it for Series 1. Of course, there is still another series to come, but with that, I'm going to send it over the break. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, yada yada, all that YouTube jazz, even though I don't have a YouTube.